California, home of the Dodgers, taking on the Cubs. Glad you're with us, and happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody from all of us at Fox. Should be a good one tonight. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Let's talk about the Cubs first, the world champs. Everything seemed to go right last year. They won 103 games. Pitching was so good, and while they're in first place right now, it just doesn't have the same feel as it did a year ago.
No, it hasn't clicked yet. And we know the extended playoffs, the extended innings, but last year the starters had career numbers. They were dominant from the very beginning, and they rode that all year. You look at the numbers first in just about every category. They were the strength of the ball club. We all know their lineup can score runs, but this year it's been a bevy of problems. It has not gone the way they want. The weather has not been great, and certainly you could see those numbers need to improve. Don't worry, though. The weather's going to get warmer. The starters are going to get better. This is a team that's going to be in October.
You've used the word bevy. The Dodgers have a bevy of starters, but the pitching has been good really throughout, from the starters to the relievers. Obviously, the closer's terrific. Pitching is the story for L.A.
It really is. Collectively, they have the best ERA in the National League, and it's a little bit different story than it was last year for Dave Roberts. He had to go to the bullpen so many times it set a record. He's hoping that's not the case this year. Everybody knows about Clayton Kershaw, but they need their starters to get them to October, which many people believe the Dodgers will be.
Well, two good young players will be on display here tonight. Ian Happ on your left from the Cubs, Cody Bellinger, the young left fielder, first baseman for the Dodgers, on the right. It's a rematch tonight on Fox.
Cubs versus the Dodgers. Cubs are in Los Angeles, just like the NL Championship Series. Let's recap.
The Cubs have won the pennant!
Cubs won! Cubs won the World Series. But this year, right now, the Dodgers are playing great.
The Dodgers win it!
It's going to be great.
Got to get him going. They don't worry about the next guy. That man, Chris Bryant. Anthony Rizzo cleans up. Then it's the rookie, Ian Happ. Hayward will follow. Montero, Russell, and John Lackey pitching and batting ninth. All of that against the veteran right-hander, 33 years old, all 6'7", 226 pounds of him. Beat the Cubs earlier this year. Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, you're going to see two-seamer, four-seamer, cutter, and curveball. And when he's on with the two-seamer down, will create some ground balls. And when he's not, he has command issues. First 3 innings have not been a problem for him. It's the second part of the game, 4 through 6, that has given him some fits. But the Cubs and some of their hitters like the first pitch. It's going to be a little cat and mouse game. This is one of those guys, loves the first pitch.
John Jay, former Cardinal, former Padre, first year with the Cubs, and away we go on a Saturday. Yeah, ball one. Ball one from Brandon McCarthy, who is pitching for his 6th organization. So he's bounced around, and he is on the other side of Tommy John surgery. A pop-up. Left side, Seager, one of the best young players in the game. Hauls it in. We'll give you the Ford keys to the game as we settle in here at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's reverse roles for each pitcher. You see McCarthy get through the 4th through the 6th innings, turn it over to the bullpen. But for Lackey, he's got to get through the first innings. The first inning especially, in the first 3 innings. So a little bit of flip script for each starter and their success rate tonight.
There are the numbers for Brandon McCarthy and how he has struggled. Second time through the lineup and beyond. Here's Schwarber, and if there's one mission for the Cubs on this road trip, after a great homestand going 7-2, it's get Kyle Schwarber going. He is out of whack right now.
Yeah, he sure is. And if you think about that historic World Series after missing the whole season, tracking 1,000 or whatever baseballs, he delivered under the clutch. But then the offseason hit. He didn't have an opportunity to continue swinging the bat.
1-0 pitch is just outside 2-0.
And so one of the things, this timing and really more mentally, he's trying to live up to a healthier knee. He's trying to be everything that everybody wants him to be, and pressing just a little bit mentally at the plate. It's affecting him in his production.
2-0 pitch is a breaking ball down. 3 balls, no strikes. And one thing Joe Maddon talked about is slowing things down at the plate, not letting strikes pile up. So far, McCarthy hasn't been able to throw him one. A 3-0 pitch. How about swinging on 3-0? That's 3-1.
Good way to cherry pick and get going. He didn't get the calls of any strikes, but I think he threw 2 of them in that at bat.
I think I'm with you on that.
Just a little bit late, and when you're in a funk, you're missing the pitches you need to hit. You're fouling them off, and then the pitchers have time to make pitchers' pitches on you.
Well, from 3-0 to 3-2, and Schwarber has had enough in the strikeout department. He has struck out 55 times to go with his 29 hits.
And that's we're going to be talking about through the game, some of the mechanics that he goes about in what is an incredible gift of hitting.
That will get out of play, and the count will stay 3-2.
So here's one of the things when you think about throwing to a guy like Schwarber, you got to make sure he stays on the defensive. You never want to lock him in or get him going. And so right now you could see the cutters above the hand in and firm are beating him to the barrel. He's got the relaxed hand approach, and then at the last minute he has the ability to just drop the barrel on the baseball.
Well, 3-2 slider from McCarthy, and it misses for a 1-out walk.
Baseman number 17,
Brandon McCarthy, who came up with the White Sox in 05, was traded to Texas in 06. I think the home plate umpire, Trip Gibson's already got manager Dave Roberts talking to himself and maybe directing some of that frustration out toward home plate. But McCarthy was with Oakland, Arizona, the Yankees. Dodgers signed him to a 4-year, $48 million deal. He is in year 3 of that. That's in for a strike to Chris Bryant.
Yeah, health has been a big problem for McCarthy. Career under 500 record. Has only had a couple winning months in his career, but since he's been with the Dodgers here, 6-1 at this stadium.
2 quick strikes on Bryant. Yeah, 13 times on the disabled list for McCarthy. And he was able to cash in on a great second half with the Yankees in 2014 after being traded there by Arizona. Went 7-5 over 90 innings pitched, 2.89 ERA in the American League. Signed with the Dodgers, and he's been hurt more than he's been healthy. A pop up right side. Utley with his glasses on has out number 2. You know, Chase Utley's at second base. Adrian Gonzalez is a little over a week back off the disabled list. He's at first. Shortstop is the terrific Corey Seager. Kike Hernandez is over at third. And an outfield of Bellinger, the rookie, Taylor, the rookie, Puig out in right, with Grandal doing the catching for McCarthy, who is trying to pitch around the one-out walk to Schwarber. Anthony Rizzo stands in his way. Coming off a terrific homestand is Rizzo. Check on Schwarber, who has a short lead.
Well, you can go up and down through this lineup, and I think the one thing that gets this team going is Anthony Rizzo. You saw it last year in the postseason, struggled early. Once he started going, they started winning. He's had some streaks this year, have not been so good. If he can get hot, this offense will get hot behind him.
Strike one. No surprise that a 7-2 homestand coincided with Rizzo going off. 12 out of 31, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, and you saw that average of 387. That was coming off a 5 for 48 stretch. 0-1 pitch. Strike two. It's McCarthy against Lackey. Here comes an 0-2 pitch to Rizzo. Choke way up on the bat. Utley in a perfect spot finds Gonzalez, and the inning is over. A one-out walk. Cubs strand Schwarber, and after a half on a beautiful evening in LA, no score. Turner, who's leading baseball with his .379 average, but he's got Chris Taylor, a red-hot young player at the top of the lineup. The center fielder. Then Corey Seager, Yasmani Grandal. Adrian Gonzalez homered last night, first home run of the season. Kike Hernandez, who actually made the assist on that last out at the top of the first. Bellinger, Utley, Puig, and McCarthy. The rest of the order against the right-hander. About to turn 39 late in the year, John Lackey, and he's got very good numbers, as you can see. In his long career against the Dodgers, a career ERA of 1.82.
Yeah, he sure does, but it's been a little bit of a first inning blues this year for John Lackey. 8 ERA and a 357 batting average against in the first inning.
Kind of mirrors what's happened with the Cubs rotation. There's a strike. An ERA over 8 in the first inning for Cubs starters, so it's been a problem not just with Lackey but rotation wide. Here's Chris Taylor, who's been a nice surprise. Changed his approach at the plate over the offseason. He's in the hole 0-2 here. Because he is hitting so well, Dave Roberts is finding a place to get him in the lineup, and it's been center field this week. The on-base percentage, third best across baseball in the month of May, behind Joey Votto and Mike Trout. 0-2 pitch. Ball 1.
Well, Lackey's been super aggressive on the first pitch. Throws a high percentage of strikes, around 70%. They got some hitters in this lineup who love the first pitch. So much of the success of Lackey is pounding in strikes, but this year it's also been giving up a lot of hits on the first pitch and home runs.
1-2 pitch is hit, a soft liner, tough play, and a good pick by Happ. The rookie came in and on a difficult bounce makes the play cleanly for out number 1.
Yeah, that one had some funny spin on it, hit off the end of the bat. Happ has played most of his young career at second base, will play a little outfield as well, but some believe he'll take over for Zobrist when Zobrist is not playing with the Cubs or retired.
So his first big league start at second base. The baseball always seems to find those guys, and Happ made a good play. Here's a pitch inside to Corey Seager.
But it's going to be an interesting game with the strike zone so far from Mr. Gibson, because we know the man on the mound has been known to let the umpire know from time to time whether he thinks it's a strike or not.
That's a little up and in. The count 2-0, and I'm with you. It looks like a tight strike zone here early. Trip Gibson is behind the plate. Iassoni at first. Gorman and DeMuro on the bases. Here's a 2-0. Outside, ball 3. It's been such an impressive start in the young career for Corey Seager. We'll get into some of those numbers and where he ranks as this game wears on. There's a strike, 3-1. Seager hitting in front of a red-hot Yasmani Grandal. Dodgers 9 games over 500 as strike 2 is poured in there from Lackey at 90 miles an hour, a full count.
Lackey will go to his slider a lot in this game if he continues the trends in the last 4 games, averaging about 38 of them a game.
3-2. Here's one of the numbers for Seager. Got to 100 extra base hits in his 221st game. And only 2 shortstops in the modern era reached that mark faster. A-Rod back in '96 and Garciaparra in '98. Seager takes a walk.
Catcher number 9, Yasmani
So
Grandal.
1-on-1 out in Yasmani Grandal. The switch hitting catcher, who's batted much better from this side of the plate. .333 digs in. RBI double in last night's game. Been tearing the cover off the ball during the month of May. A strike hits the inside corner. There are the numbers for May. 362 and 16 of his 23 RBIs. Strike 2.
And that's the pitch that gives him trouble. You want to stay slow with your breaking ball rather than firm in a cutter or slider. You want that kind of vertical break because he's geared up to hit something hard as Grandal.
Ball just jumps off his bat from this side of the plate. The 0-2 pitch from Lackey. It's fouled away. The Dodgers were a game over 500 at this point in the year last year. You know, they got to the Final Four in baseball a year ago, lost to the Cubs in 6 games in the NLCS. Dave Roberts believes they are better in 2017 than they were a year ago. The bad part is the division's tougher. Colorado's for real. Arizona's good. That's in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, and it's a little bit unexpected when you think about San Francisco's gone the other way, right? So now it's always been the Giants and the Dodgers. Colorado had always shown they could start out a little bit on a good note, but could they sustain it? Arizona's the team I would think can sustain it a little bit longer, but we'll find out. They're in a much tougher division than the Cubs.
1-2 pitch is grounded to first. Can they turn it? Rizzo. Wide throw, and the only out at second, 2 away. That was hit hard enough, but the throw by Rizzo pulled Russell off the bag, and he had to go in for the tag. 2 out.
Yeah, he got it quick enough, and he really got rid of the ball without stepping, and the ball sails. You see where Russell was anticipating the ball and had to make sure that he got one. Ball just sails on him, and Russell, athletic as every young player seems to be on the Chicago Cubs defensively. Although this year they're not quite where they were last year as a defensive team. That's one thing that Joe Madden says has got to get better.
You can see the foot hit the bag. It's a force out. 3-6 with Russell hitting the base, and now Gonzalez, who finally homered last night and who is a little over a week off the disabled list, fouls the first pitch away for strike 1. See, that's the drought, and this was a guy who, as you know, John, in his mid to late 20s was a 30 to 40 home run guy in San Diego in a big ballpark. Here's one into left, and Schwarber to his right ends the inning, and after 1 on baseball night in America, NLCS rematch, Cubs and Dodgers, no score. Sponsored by Sprint. Works for me. Glad you're with us on Fox as we move into the second inning. It will be Ian Happ, Jason Hayward, and Miguel Montero. For the Cubs, no score. Each side drew a walk in the first. And Happ, who has burst onto the scene here in the big leagues, 7 extra base hits in his first 12 games, will stand in. Hard worker, quiet guy, according to Joe Madden, and already seen him make a good defensive play at second. He's played all over the outfield. Seems like he's here to stay. First pitch from McCarthy. That caught him. And Happ will take the base, hit by a pitch to start the second.
Well,
that's what the league is starting to do. They're starting to power the ball against Happ. He's had success early on, and pitchers start watching video. But this is a cutter that just, if you're going to get hit, that's the way to get hit, by the way. And he'll have to make adjustments, as do this Cubs team. We forget there's a lot of young at-bats in this Cubs team still. Last year, young at-bats. This year, they're still learning. And that's why you see some up and down with their offense and streaky.
Here's an old at-bat, Jason Hayward, who has redeveloped his swing, and it has paid dividends here in 2017 after a lost year in 2016. Late on that pitch, strike one.
He's been more aggressive. It's still taking time to work this in, and this man did this a week after winning the World Series. Went right to work in Arizona. Give him a lot of credit. It's still going to take time. Left-handers giving him a little bit of an issue, but catching up to the fastball at that height, when he starts making that adjustment, watch out.
Well, Hayward is known more for the speech he made during the rain delay in Game 7 than for what he contributed at the plate. He did make the start in Game 7, but in that World Series had 3 hits, no RBIs. And so he needed to go to work. It's an 8-year deal that he signed with the Cubs. He has an opt-out in there, which I still can't figure out how an opt-out ever benefits the club. It certainly benefits Hayward, and he can settle in knowing that they're going to have to find at-bats for him as he rockets one into right. Will it carry into the corner? It is foul. As it just died down the line, it ended up in the seats, but for Hayward on the wrong side of the pole, and Madden wants to verify.
Yeah, what little wind that usually here in LA is actually pushing the ball to the right side, and it just misses. There's that same up fastball cutter, and he gets on top of it, and I'm amazed at how much this ball hooked.
So Hayward, who's already got 5 home runs, he didn't hit his 5th until the end of July last year. Just missed number 6. Spent time on the disabled list with a jammed right index finger. He's back and ready to go, and now he comes up empty for the strikeout for McCarthy, his first of the night. 1 out.
That's just good execution and not afraid of the previous pitch. This one was more of the four-seam variety, and it just explodes in the middle of the strike zone, and the power beats Hayward. The cutter, that's the one he pulled foul, and you could see the swing plane still a little dragging through. That's the connection he's got to make with his hands so he can get the barrel of the bat to the ball quicker.
Now Miguel Montero. Montero was frustrated at his playing time during last year's postseason. But for this catcher, he's a guy who had one huge swing of the bat. And it came during the NLCS, and it came at Wrigley Field. And it was a game-winning grand slam in Game 1. Pitch is inside for ball 1. Pinch hitting in the bottom of the 8th. Off to a great start. .328 average, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Splitting time with Contreras. That's outside. 2-0. Here it is. Game 1.
Slider right over the middle of the plate, and he knew it. This is another guy you want to throw curveballs instead of sliders if you have it. His swing plane, there can't be any better feeling than what he had coming off the bench for that moment.
2-0 the count, 1 on, 1 out. I didn't know bricks could shake.
They were.
But when that ball left the park in right field, sitting there in Wrigley Field, a stadium that was put together in 1914, the bricks were shaking. Never forget that moment. 3-0 the count. And now a strike from McCarthy. The Cubs and Dodgers will be finished for the season after tomorrow. And what a matchup that game is. A pair of left-handers, Lester and Kershaw. going at it in the finale of this 3-game set. 3-1 pitch, fouled back, full count. We will interview Clayton Kershaw from the dugout during the 4th inning if he remembers. He's reliable. I would say the odds are good. 3-2 pitch, runner goes, and fly ball into left center field. It sends Taylor back for out number 2. And Ian Happ, who was hit by a pitch to start this inning, is standing at first, 2 out for Addison Russell.
It's awfully enticing. 6'7" is McCarthy, and he throws a lot of belt-high fastballs, but he has a lot of spin on that fastball and cutter. And then when he mixes in his sinker down, he changes eye level as good as anybody when he is on. And then he'll throw in the curveball, which we've seen a couple times early on.
Addison Russell hitting just .211. Takes a strike. Started the year in the middle part of the lineup. Now hitting in the 8th spot. 3 homers, 19 RBIs. Had the day off on Thursday at the end of the homestand. He is still young, 23 years old. That's a swing and a miss on strike 2.
And Russell's another guy you'd like to get going. He's really struggled in May. His average is not where this talented shortstop is capable of. There's the last 10 games.
0-2 from McCarthy. Skips in there, and Grandal keeps it at the plate. You start thinking about the rookies and the guys the Cubs have brought along over the last few years. The foundation, the building blocks, Russell a part of that, even though he was not originally drafted by the Cubs. He was traded to the Cubs organization, and here he is. Strikeout ends the inning. 2 in the frame for McCarthy, throwing hard, and after an inning and a half with Hernandez, then the rookie Cody Bellinger coming up. Off to a great start in the big leagues in Utley. No score. Is sponsored by Budweiser, proudly brewed across America. This Bud's for you. MLB.com at Bat is your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get club branded home screen icons and app features as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Kike Hernandez first up. He'll be followed by Cody Bellinger, then Chase Utley, and a breaking ball is ripped foul for strike one. No score in the second. You know who's watching this game? Tommy Lasorda. 89 years old and stronger now than he was a week ago. Got a new pacemaker. Talked to Stan Kasten with these Dodgers. He was visiting him and said Tommy is doing great. And like Dave Roberts said, they need Tommy to get healthy and get back to the ballpark because they need him. Reaching for it was Hernandez, and it's a wide throw and an error on Addison Russell. And there isn't much going right for the 23-year-old shortstop right now. Routine play, and that's his fifth error.
Number 35, Cody Bellinger.
Ball hit pretty routinely. He looks at the runner, and the ball just absolutely sails. So the Cubs, as good as they were last year, a lot of it had to do with their pitching because their pitching was dominant. Their defensive runs saved, and defensive efficiency was as good as it gets. This year, they're just not making a lot of normal plays.
Now Cody Bellinger, who stands straight up and down at the plate, takes a ball inside. That's the 37th error, second most in the majors. Only the A's have more committed by the Cubs, and they've allowed 27 unearned runs to score, which is the fourth most in baseball. So that is an area and a department where they can get better, and Joe Maddon knows it. 2-0 the count on Bellinger.
They've got a shift on now, but they typically don't shift as much as the league does. They were 29th last year. Went on to win the World Series, so that tells you what shifting does for team success.
Chopper to Rizzo, weird bounce, out at second, and no throw to first. And that was Happ who took the throw, and it's 1-on-1 out with Chase Utley coming up.
Chase Utley.
But I'm a big believer that if your pitchers are on, hitting your spots, soft contact, the athletic defense that the Cubs have will naturally be better. And we've seen this year, first innings, even the ERAs, the hits allowed, the batting average against, the Cubs pitchers have not been on their mark, and coincidentally, neither has the defense.
I know we said this when we had the Cubs a couple of weeks ago, but in the postseason, how many times were we putting together defensive packages where they were just flying all over the field making plays, whether it was Baez or somebody else behind this Cub pitching staff. Here's strike one on Chase Utley, who after a brutal month of April has turned it on here in May. And the veteran can still do it. He's hit home runs in consecutive games. He's been hitting .326 since the 10th of May. A late timeout granted, so no pitch, and the count stays 0-1.
I got to give John Lackey a little credit. So far, there's been an error, there's been a couple missed pitches, and a timeout, and right when he was delivering the ball. So not bad for a guy who's this competitive and gritty and certainly loves to get after it on the mound, the veteran.
Southern California.
Yeah, that may be it.
He's just laid back. 0-1 pitch. Utley takes outside. When we talked to Dave Roberts about when it turned around for Chase Utley, he said that he was willing to hit during a simulated game earlier in the year in May. And the veteran, who can pretty much set his own schedule, showed up at 2 o'clock. Had a good simulated game, had about 10 to 12 at bats in that effort. That night got 2 hits, and he's been red hot ever since.
Yeah, that's what's amazing about anyone who doesn't understand a simulated game. You come out real early, you're helping out the pitcher. He's in the lineup that night, so there's no reason for him to do it, but he said he would. Stood in there, 10 at bats, had real good at bats. It carried over into the night, and he hasn't really looked back. He's been on much more of a roll after starting poorly.
There's a simulated game that McCarthy threw. Hurt his left shoulder, McCarthy did earlier in the year lifting weights. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. eventually. Almost daring Utley to ask for timeout and the count 2-2. Lackey was 11-8 with the Cubs last year, 0-1 during the postseason in 3 starts. And it was a game here at Dodger Stadium when Lackey was not allowed to finish the 5th. He was none too pleased to come out of the ball game, but Joe Madden wasn't going to play around with the ball game anymore. Here comes a 2-2. Just sticks the bat out and pops it into right for Hayward. 2 out. And Lackey is trying to pitch around that error that started the inning on a ball hit by Hernandez.
Number 66, Yasiel Puig.
Puig's going the wrong way right now in his current stretch. You see the average decline. Started off on fire, and then the league has basically said, we're going to attack you with hard stuff and fastballs, and he has not been able to catch up. But Dave Roberts loves his defense. His defense is winning out, even though his average is dropping down.
They basically said he's in the game because of his defense. And have a seat. Yasiel, ball 1.
Guy's struggling. You don't want to wake him up. Fastball up. Did the limbo.
He missed a few games with a bat back. Has to stretch it out to get out of the way here. Now the next. Ball and a strike. He has found success against Chicago pitching. 3 homers, 7 RBIs, but an ERA of 3.89, 28 for 72. Totally fooled off the end of the bat, strike 2.
Hitting much like pitching, mechanics, rhythm. When you feel connected in every aspect, the ball looks huge. When you're not, you're searching, trying to do too much, and of course, completely fooled, thinking fastball, and it was a slider.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. High, hard stuff. And the inning is over. First strikeout for Lackey. And a good job by the veteran right-hander to get around the error. After 2 at Dodger Stadium. No score. Back after this from our local sponsor. Director Matt Gangle. We move into the third inning, no score. And Brandon McCarthy back to the hill, facing his counterpart, John Lackey. Talked about McCarthy and his difficulty staying healthy. 13 times on the disabled list, according to Stats Inc. Underwent Tommy John surgery in 2015. Good pitch there. And Lackey, who has 4 hits this season, is in the hole 0-2. John Jay and Kyle Schwarber, the next 2 hitters. That's strike 3 and the third strikeout for McCarthy. And Ken Rosenthal is bathing in the sun down there in the dugout. And now Lackey is, sorry, hold on, Ken. Lackey just got in the face of the home plate umpire, Trip Gibson. Let's watch what happened here. Good move, John, by a starting pitcher?
No, not. No. No.
You want to think about it? Okay. Sorry, Ken. Sorry for the misfire there. That one's on me. 1 out, nobody on, and the batter will be John Jay. Nice to see McCarthy on the mound and healthy, and he looks sharp here in the early going.
He does, Joe. And coming back from Tommy John last year, he said, frankly, he wasn't ready to pitch. And John, I'm going to want to hear your thoughts on this. Brandon McCarthy basically said that when you're coming back from a surgery like Tommy John, you're not getting ready to pitch in the major leagues again. You're simply trying to get healthy. So, for example, you throw a 30-pitch bullpen. The question is, hey, how'd you get through that? Are you okay? Rather than, is your cutter sharp enough? How's your curveball? Can you repeat your mechanics? Those are the questions he needed to be asking, but he was simply trying to get himself well.
John Jay grounds out. Thanks, Ken. Jay now 0 for 2, and I guess that makes sense. You're worried more about the health than you are about the stuff and about the accuracy and about the feel.
Yeah, especially with his history and record of being on the DL a lot. This just added to it. And I think the biggest thing when you come back from a major surgery like Tommy John, there's a bunch of ways to spend your energy and time, and one of them is with your body and your whole arm, taking care of it, getting it stronger than ever. And most guys do come back feeling better, but it's the connectivity to those pitches he's talking about that you never really are right until about, I don't know, 18 months. You can pitch at 12, you can pitch at 11, you can pitch obviously within that time frame, but you really get the benefit 6 months past a year to getting back to what you do, and that's making pitches.
We're going to talk to Kenny as this game goes on. It's interesting that these are 2 clubs that are both over 500. One team, the Cubs, right at the top of the division in the National League Central. The Dodgers are 9 games over 500, but both could be in the market for a starting pitcher. And that's funny to say for a team like the Dodgers that has, in essence, 7 guys for 5 spots. Do they have the dynamic starter that you would need in a playoff series?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people questioning that with the resources they have. By the way, paying $32 million in taxes, that money that spent over $32 million for the 4th consecutive year. And I think what the Dodgers have done is created this depth, but have they created the 1-2-3 punch? Like you said, Kershaw, and then what? Rich Hill, they re-signed, hoping he can get back on track.
Schwarber with the count in his favor pops it up. Long run for somebody, and it's Seager over there near the third base coaching box, and the inning is over. Bottom of the 3rd inning will roll in. McCarthy, the pitcher, will start it for the Dodgers. No score. fresh off his little conversation with a home plate umpire, hits the inside part of the strike zone against Brandon McCarthy. 1 for 10 swinging the bat this season.
You can see why.
Yeah, I was going to say, about to mark him down 1 for 11, but crazier things have happened. 0-2 the count. Lackey misses just outside. And Lackey, all he can do is smile.
I'm smiling because I knew he would be smiling.
That ball is outside. No?
Yeah.
Nobody would have complained.
Nobody would have complained. Pitcher up.
All right, 1-2 pitch. There's strikeout number 2. Why don't we finish the conversation, Kenny? I know what the Dodgers say, but they have to be in a position where if the right deal comes along, this team's too good to not have a bona fide number 2 starter if Alex Wood is not that guy.
Joe, I agree. Now, Alex Wood right now is that guy, but the question is, will he be that guy in October, and will there be a viable number 3 for a postseason series? Keep in mind, 5 of the Dodgers' 7 top starters are left-handed. So the guy we're talking about is probably a right-hander, maybe someone like Sonny Gray. Dodgers GM Farhan Zaidi, very familiar with him from their days together in Oakland. But the Dodgers are quite reluctant to overpay at the deadline. It's not something they like to do. They had to do it last year for Rich Hill and Josh Reddick. It's just not the way they prefer to do business.
Yeah, and let's remember a couple of years ago, I think the baseball world was expecting a Cole Hamels deal here to the Dodgers. That didn't happen. So, you know, they made that decision not to pay up for Zach Greinke. He ended up with the Arizona Diamondbacks on a massive deal. And they've been looking for that number 2 guy ever since. 2 balls and a strike now on Chris Taylor, who grounded out his first time.
Well, what's interesting, too, you think about Urias, who's now been put back to AAA to get more consistency because he is a big-time future pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, he being left-handed. And I look at the potential matchups. I don't know if this is how they're doing it as an organization, but when you think about the Washington Nationals and some of their left-handed tough hitters, you think about the Cubs, and they've had and can struggle against left-handed pitchers. So I think, can you go into a postseason series with 4 left-handed pitchers? We're going to find out, because Alex Wood has the funkiness. He can go in the pen if you need him to, but if he's pitching like this, you keep him in the rotation.
Here's a 2-2. A strikeout, and a good job by Lackey to come back from a 2-0 count. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for the veteran right-hander. 2 out in the third.
Corey Seager
brings in Corey Seager, and here's that last pitch to Taylor.
Well, Lackey's got a good 4-seam fastball working right now. He's kind of gone away from that sinker. The sinker has been hit pretty hard this year for an average, so the 4-seamer, slider, curveball, and is a much improved changeup.
Seager now a foul tip that catches, I believe, both Montero and the home plate umpire.
I'm just telling you, if I'm a GM in today's world, this is the position I would struggle if you told me I get only 1 shortstop in the crop of young shortstops that we have today.
Okay, so you've got Seager, you've got Lindor,
Carlos Correa. You know, you're talking about, even if it was just those 3, I don't know who you pick. I mean, I love this guy. This guy represents not only this city, but left-handed power. I don't know if he can stay at shortstop as big as he is. Let's not forget, a man in Baltimore was a shortstop, Machado, as well. He moved to third.
That pitch misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Lackey tries to strike out the side, and 4 straight. Just 23. They've got some youth with this Dodger club mixed in with vets, but good young hitters. That's down 2-2. Corey drew a walk his first time up. Hitting .286. He's popped 7 home runs. Second full year in the big leagues. Strikeout, and Lackey strikes out the side, and 4 in a row. Inning number 4. Somebody go tell Clayton Kershaw he's got to put a headset on. Best in the game. But he's going to be with us.
I hope.
No score. Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Good game, fourth inning, good pitching. And that means Brandon McCarthy and John Lackey. No score, Bryant, Rizzo, and Happ. Three good young hitters for this 6'7", 226-pound right-hander, Brandon McCarthy, as he works it home to the shortstop, Seager, and almost waited too long to get it over to first. Just got
I'm sure the Cubs are going to try to look at that one.
I don't want to trust my eyes, but I thought he was safe. We have an interested observer down in the dugout.
They're not going to do it.
Not going to do it. So they get the word. Let's watch.
Ew, man, is that close.
Doesn't matter. All right, Clayton Kershaw is with us. Hi, Clayton. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
Thanks for remembering to come on with us.
You're welcome. It was a close call. I almost forgot. But I remember.
What glasses are you wearing down there? What is that?
It's kind of a day game, night game. So I wore the flip ups. Just you never know. It's going to get dark here eventually. So
you get the ball tomorrow. What do you do on a night like this, on a beautiful night in L.A. down in that dugout? How much are you watching what these Cub hitters are doing?
Well, with McCarthy pitching, not a lot. Woody last night, I watched that. Watched the tape today just to check it out a little bit. Oh, we're gonna have a quick inning. This is awesome. Way to go.
What do you mean? 2 out, nobody on. Yeah. So right-hander McCarthy, you're not really gonna gain much knowledge with what he does here tonight.
Yeah, I'm just cheerleading today. Just trying to get some guys. We need to get a hit here pretty soon. So hopefully I'll help him out a little bit.
It seems like, as an outsider, this Dodger club has got a lot of life to it. It's a fun group to be around, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me it seems like potentially a better team than you had a year ago. Is that right?
I hope so. I think you're right about the fun part. We have a lot of great guys. Ooh, almost got him again. But I think it's I think the better part is mainly health. We got a lot of guys. This guy on the mound especially is throwing the ball so well, and Woody last night, he's healthy now, and we just have a lot of guys that are throwing the ball really well that weren't really around last year, so that's pretty awesome.
Here's Happ with a 1-ball 1-strike count. Maybe an off the board question. What'd you say to Urias when he was shipped out? I know he's making a AAA start. You're going to need him before the end of the year, and I'm sure you're somebody he looks up to.
Yeah, Julio's going to be fine, and that's basically what we all said to him, is just that you know, sometimes, you know, I said the same thing. I got sent down my first year. You know, sometimes you struggle. Sometimes you lose that confidence. And I think that's kind of a factor for him right now, is just needs to go and gain some confidence again and just kind of be a bulldog down there and go get the guys out as quickly as possible. And, you know, he knows he'll be back here. We know he'll be back here. And you're right, we're definitely going to need him. Good matchup tomorrow with Lester, huh? I hope so. Yeah, I'm going to try and do my part, and, you know, he'll do his. So, yeah, it should be, you know, hopefully we can pull one out tomorrow. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and a base hit into right center field. Sorry, Clayton. Here is stretching it into a double. The rookie hustling on a ball into right center, and he just made that a double. There was a chance. Kershaw was part of a 3-batter inning, but... All right, well, here's my call. I'm going to say he jumped up a little bit right there, and our video guy, John Pratt, best in the business. You think they're going to review this? Yeah, that's my call. We got to jump up. We got to jump up out. Inning over. In the air. Yeah. His gloves on the left leg, it looks like. That may be the case. So before we get a verdict, I have a quick question for you, Clayton. You have, I call you an annexed pitcher in the new way that baseball has kind of been played, right? So the way hitters hit today and the evolution change of launch angle, has that changed your approach at all with everybody trying to go deep and swinging and missing a lot? John, you just said so many words that I don't even know what the meaning of it is. But I'll tell you what, you know, I think you're right. I think a lot of guys are, you know, they're not just guys trying to hit me with the ball right now. They're not trying to just put the ball in play with 2 strikes. You know, I think that's the big key. And to be quick, I don't change anything, but the game has changed a lot. Well, there you go. A 3-batter inning, Clayton. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. At some point, flip the glasses down just so we can see what that looks like. Bottom of the 4th inning, no score. Yasmani Grandal hits the first pitch into right. 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. No score. We finally had our first hit, and I'm going to go down as the get off my lawn guy. But so the foot beats the tag on the hustle play by Ian Howe. And then because his momentum carries him up into the air, he's tagged out by Seager.
to end the inning. And, you know, by the letter of the law on the replay, he's out. But that, as you and I were talking about, John, not the intention of video replay.
No, it wasn't the intention. And but the detail now, the attention to detail is what every middle infielder and guys who take the tag are told to keep it on him now for that particular reason. So what it's caused players to do, which there's a lot of players with bad habits, is slide better and to find a way to, as you're getting to the bag, be able to stay and maintain that foot to the bag, right?
Here's a line drive off the bat of Gonzalez, caught by Bryant, 2 out.
So in a weird way, like a play like that, a head first slide might be a better way to stay on the bag and avoid the tag and get to second base. But a lot of things is ingrained in a player that you kind of forget. The art of sliding and the ability to tag, which is now a much more important thing because of replay.
Kenny Rosenthal, why have they not been able to eliminate that little small piece of video replay? 2 out, nobody on. The batter is Kike Hernandez. Go ahead, Ken. His mic is not working. Okay, 2 out, nobody on. The 0-1 pitch, strike 2. Ken, I'm giving you one more chance. Can you hear it? Can we hear you?
Me. Oh, there you are.
Hey, there you go. Okay,
all
go
right. The
ahead.
problem is, where do you draw the line on that particular play? Which plays are out? Which plays are safe? It's an unintended consequence of replay. It's not a good thing. It's not in the spirit of the rule. But the way I understand it from baseball, there's not a whole lot they can do about it at this point.
2 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Lackey, and a ball off the end of the bat. Foul. Rizzo, long run, can't get there.
Well,
I mean, could you plow in there? I mean,
yeah.
part of popping up is taking the pressure off the slide. It's the momentum. You could plow in there, stay down, and take the guy's legs out, couldn't you?
In theory. I think the problem, too, is technology in HD has gotten so good so that your viewer sitting at home, it'd be very difficult with the way that replay allows you to do things to see that play and go, Now, we've seen that play a lot before, but it was never a reviewable act.
We've seen it in golf. I think fans at home should be allowed to call in and make calls. Fouled out a play off to the right. After the game, a fan calls in and says, I saw on my TV that Ian Happ was in the air. Get everybody back to the ballpark.
That's such a bad rule in golf, isn't it?
Awful. Awful. And then when you sign an incorrect scorecard, they get you again. It's TV's fault. 1-2 pitch. In the air to right center field, won't be caught. That ball is down to the wall. Hernandez to second. There will be no review. It's a double with 2 out here in the 4th for Kike. And the first hit of the night by the Dodgers.
Well, this is one of the few ones that he leaves over the middle of the plate and up. And Hernandez doesn't try to do a whole lot but go with the pitch, and he splits the gap for a double. And bringing up Corey Bellinger, who I can't think of a comp with the way that he stands erect up there. And I would have thought, seeing him and seeing video, that you could get this young lad with fastballs up and in. But boy, did he turn around a lot of those pitches already early in his career.
First one is up from Lackey to Cody Bellinger, who bounced into a force out his first time up. The Dodgers are 20-8 with him in their lineup, 9-12 without him. He came up, took over for Adrian Gonzalez at first. Hernandez takes off. He'll steal third. The ball pops away from Montero, but not far enough for Hernandez to try and score. He's at third, 2 out.
Well, Dave Roberts calls Bellinger a complete player, thinks baseball. As the runner takes off here with 2 outs, nothing really big about that other than a wild pitch now will score a run. But Bellinger played on a Little League team when Eric Burns was playing for the Diamondbacks and doing his show. And he had this young man over with the whole team at about 12 years old and asked him questions and said his maturity was beyond the years, and here he is now playing in the big leagues, just fulfilling another Dodgers rookie campaign.
Here's a 2-0. That one almost too high for Montero. The count 3-0. Clay Bellinger, his dad, played for the Yankees, made a great catch in Game 2 of the 2000 World Series, a utility player. His dad was a grinder, about a decade in the minor leagues. And Cody, according to Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, has that same grinder's mentality with the ability and talent to someday maybe hit 30 home runs in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's got a big uppercut swing. Sometimes the swing gets a little too long, but already a lot of home runs. You see that kind of launch angle right there on a breaking ball. He tries to be still, and then he tries to fire. Watch where his hands are. Watch the pitch. His leg gets down. His foot gets down. And then he's just looking to hit the ball in the air, which is what most of the guys today are trying to do.
It was 3-0, now 3-2. First and third, 2 out. Second walk issued by Lackey, and the batter will be Chase Utley.
Number 26, Chase Utley.
38-year-old second baseman Chase Utley, a 6-time All-Star, still absolutely beloved in Philadelphia for the way he played the game with the Phillies, and he put up some monster years. Runners at the corners for Chase, who's trying to put the Dodgers on top after they won here last night 4-zip. He does. Base hit left field and in to score Kike Hernandez as the Dodgers take a 4th inning lead. Utley red hot as the Dodgers strike first on Saturday night.
He is hot, and going into the stats, he hadn't got a hit off a right-handed slider this year, but that slider stayed over the middle of the plate, hit a bullet one-hopper past Russell, and Lackey knew as soon as he let go of that ball, he was hoping that ball would break. And Utley didn't miss it.
Now Yasiel Puig struck out his first time. No hitter across Major League Baseball has seen more fastballs than Yasiel Puig, and he struck out on a fastball his first time up. Took a strike with a fastball, and now a little wrinkle on the end of that pitch, strike 2.
Yeah, he's definitely out of rhythm, and certainly when you think, okay, I've seen the first pitch fastball, I'm going to get ready for the second one. He follows up with a slider. I would say he's going to climb the ladder with a fastball here if they're fitting the game plan against him.
0-2 pitch. He went around on an 0-2 slider, and the inning is over, but the Dodgers get a run on a 2-out RBI hit by Chase Utley. 5th inning rolls in. Cubs coming to the plate, trailing by 1. Chase Utley homered last night for the first Dodger run. 2-out RBI hit this evening for the first Dodger run. 1-0. Hayward first up. Breaking ball drops low from Brandon McCarthy. It'll be Hayward, Montero, and Russell. If anybody gets on, the pitcher Lackey. Pitch number 51 by McCarthy, in for a strike.
Well, as Hayward adjusts to a new batting stance, so do the pitchers have to adjust. He's been really aggressive early in counts this year.
Got under it, skies it on the infield. Who wants it? Gonzalez. One away, top of the 5th. Next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, the Braves take on the Reds on FS1. Then at 7 on Fox, the feud continues. Red Sox and Orioles. It all starts next Saturday at 3:30. That's Eastern time on FS1, and then at 7 on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Red Sox won again today. They have a 6-game winning streak. Baltimore Orioles have been at the top of the division in the AL East, or just behind the Yankees for the majority of the season. And now the Red Sox have slipped in there by virtue of their 6-game winning streak. It'll be a good game next week. 1 out for Montero. 0-1 pitch. Strike 2.
Well, for Baltimore, when you lose Britton, and they may lose him for some time now, came back a little too soon. That is a tough proposition, and as good as Buck Showalter does with his pen, it's starting to show. Machado's got to get going, and you just feel like the Red Sox are starting to cruise. David Price on Monday could be pitching that Saturday game if all goes well. As the Red Sox in the beginning of the season and the offseason, they were picked by many with their rotation to roll into the playoffs.
Orioles losing 2-1 in the 4th inning in their game tonight. 1-2 pitches outside, 2-2. Russell on deck, 1-run game. Top of the 5th. Strikeout number 4 for Brandon McCarthy, 2 out. And we will welcome you inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck along with John Smoltz, and well-pitched game. You know, John Lackey, I know he's on the short end of this scoreboard right now, but he said he threw the ball better his last time out, and you can see he's building on that here in this one.
Yeah, his velocity has gotten better each month. The 4-seam velocity has gone up, has John Lackey, and I think that's going to be part of the weather as well. Once this starts getting warmer, the Cubs starters will be much better than they have. But I think for McCarthy, he's starting to settle in here at home. He had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning against the Marlins last start, and he's right on track to be able to get through that middle part that we talked about being a problem. 4, 5, and 6.
Hard hit, base hit through the right side by Addison Russell. Nice to see for the young shortstop to get a 2-out knock, and at the very least get John Lackey cleared here in the 5th.
Pitcher number 41, John Lackey.
They need more of this out of Mr. Russell. He has been struggling, and he stays on the pitch, goes the other way. If nothing else, as you mentioned, gets Lackey up, and I don't think Lackey's going to try to come out of his shoes on the first pitch here.
4 out of 17 swinging the bat. Struck out his first time.
This is my favorite time to hit. 2 outs. He wanted to, because you got nothing to lose with 2 outs. You really have one thing in your mind, and that's pick out something that you think you can handle and try to go deep. He has yet to go deep in his career, but still the mindset's there.
But he can handle the bat, and he takes pretty much the same pitch. 2-0.
So here it is. You keyhole on a 2-0 pitch. You look down at the third base coach, or at least sometimes you try not to because you don't want to see the take sign. And you let it go if it's over the middle of the plate. But you must have had the take sign. That's why I wouldn't look. Just don't look.
You didn't look down for the sign?
No, when I wanted to hit, unless Bobby was whistling, I wasn't looking over there. I wanted to, that's the best pitch he's going to hit. That 2-0 pitch was the best he was going to get.
Now the 2-1. Chopper up the middle. Seager, a nice play to end the inning. Smoltz made his own rules with the Braves. There's a news flash for you.
Oh, I got called in a couple times.
The Hall of Famer. We'll see Seager in the bottom of the 5th when the Dodgers bat. They lead 1-0. Continental. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. In comparison, you can see both starters very effective. 2-out RBI hit by Utley in the 4th inning, the only RBI of the game. Here is McCarthy, the pitcher for the Dodgers, taking a strike on this Memorial Day weekend. 9th consecutive year players are wearing specially designed Memorial Day caps. 5th year in a row they are wearing matching jerseys. The league donates its licensed uniform royalties to MLB charities used to support programs for military veterans and their families. The count goes to 2-1. So happy Memorial Day weekend to those of you joining us on Baseball Night in America and all over this country. May it be a safe, fun weekend for you as the count's 3-1 now on McCarthy. One for 11, struck out his first time and now takes a walk. That is an invitation for trouble from John Lackey. A leadoff walk to the pitcher.
Center fielder Chris Taylor.
1 on, nobody out for Chris Taylor.
Yeah, you never want that to be the case where you go strike 1 and then throw 4 straight balls to a pitcher. But John Lackey's going to have to grind out this inning with the top of the order coming up.
And that means Chris Taylor now 0 for 2. That is hammered into the corner at the wall. It is gone. Home run, Chris Taylor. A walk and a blast. And the Dodgers lead 3-0 here in the 5th. That is already his 6th home run. A guy who had 1 in 120 Major League games coming into the season. He is like a different hitter.
He is, and Kenny will be talking about some of the changes he's made in his next at bat with his hands. But this is just taking advantage of a little bit of a mishap on the pitcher's behalf, walking the pitcher and then being aggressive on the very first pitch. Taylor took advantage of Lackey making a hanging slider over the middle of the plate, and he just hooks it down the left field line with a small fence there in left field.
And Dave Roberts has seen this kid blossom to the point where, as I said, they're finding a place for him to play. Now it's center field. Base hit into center field by Grandal. His first hit of the game after Seager lined out to first, and the Dodgers getting better swings against Lackey now as Adrian Gonzalez will step in.
You know, this game is not like football where you play so much of it on emotion and you can see the tide turning. But what happens in this game, especially from the mound, is if you have something that goes against, if you have a mishap and you walk a guy, you feel like you walk that pitcher, you get let down a little bit, and the other hitters can seize the moment and get aggressive, thinking that the pitcher has still that thought on his mind of walking the pitcher.
Here's strike 1 on Gonzalez. That is already the 13th home run that John Lackey has allowed here in 2017. 2-run shot by Taylor.
And because the opposing hitters know he's around the plate, the 4th first pitch home run. He pounds in a lot of strikes, so you're going to see a much more aggressive approach. And up until this point, he has been really solid with this lineup. I'm telling you, that walk to the pitcher, you can't even explain what your brain tells you when you're on the mound.
Here's a little chopper, tough play. Bryant can't make it. A rare infield hit for Adrian Gonzalez. And there's the reaction from Adrian. He doesn't get many of those.
No, he doesn't. This just hit off the end of the bat with the shift on, and Lackey finishes towards the first base side of the mound, so he can't get to it. We saw Bryant make this play to end the World Series last year, and Gonzo take any way you can get it.
Yeah, he hit his first home run of the year last night. Now he gets a 52-footer up the third baseline. Kike Hernandez, 2 on, 1 out, and that almost caught him. A 2-out hit by Hernandez in the 4th inning, last frame, followed by a walk to Bellinger and a 2-out RBI hit by Utley for the first run. Brandon McCarthy getting support. 1-0 pitch.
And see, one of the things, each pitcher has a way to deal with it. For me personally, I would step off the mound, walk around, try to clear my brain, because when you're on the mound, you're trying to make 115 decisions a game, right? And if anything alters the decision-making process, it has a carryover effect. It affects your commitment. It affects your command.
Not hard hit. The out at second and safe at first. Happ trying to turn it, almost got it done, and you can see the abilities of Ian Happ. That was a quick turn at second base. On a slowly hit ball, they almost got out of the inning.
Yeah, Russell has 3 different second basemen he's got to work with, so they've been trying to make that happen in spring training. And Happ did a nice job making the turn, but hit too slowly.
Now Cody Bellinger.
It's amazing what you remember as pitchers. The things that wouldn't stand out, like in the course of my career, I can still vividly remember having a scoreless streak going, a 10-run lead in the game. I made a bad pitch, which led to a run, which led to me being so frustrated because I was thinking about a stupid scoreless streak. That pitch looked like it crossed the plate for a strike, and it just had a carryover effect into giving up more runs. So The computer of a pitcher is so essential. That's why they say mentally you have to be tough enough to overcome a lot of different things once you release the baseball.
Here's a 2-0 pitch from Lackey. It's low, 3-0 with Utley on deck.
And with Lackey and his experience, he's been through every situation imaginable. He's closed out World Series. He's pitched in the postseason, of course, amassed over closing in on 200 wins.
.30 pitch. Check swing. 3 balls and a strike. There's a little Craig Counsell in the way Cody Bellinger stands at the plate. Counsell kind of took it to an extreme with his hands way up, and obviously Bellinger's bigger than Craig Counsell. But there's a different look when he stands at the plate. That'll load him up. 2 walks in the inning, 4 on the night for Lackey. And the bases will be loaded for Chase Utley.
Chase Utley.
Brian Dunsing, the left-hander, is getting loose. Chris Bonzio, the pitching coach, on the phone to the bullpen. Game might be hanging in the balance here. Utley could break it open. Lackey trying to keep it a 3-run game. All of this started with a walk to the pitcher McCarthy. Ball 1 to Utley, and it's who he walked. Not that he walked somebody. You walk a position player, you don't like ever leading the inning off with a walk, but it's the pitcher. And a rare commodity that he's getting ready to possibly hit again in the same inning. You read my mind, getting his batting gloves on. Well, if he hits here in this 5th inning or steps to the plate for the 2nd time, it won't be against Lackey. He's 2 hitters away, and Utley steps out. Bases loaded, 3-0, Dodgers on top. Lackey's 1-0. He checked his swing. 2 balls, no strikes.
Did he check his swing? Got some shadows now creeping over home plate from the mound.
Former pitcher in the booth thinks that was a strike.
I always do.
2-0 the count. Bases loaded, 2 out. That is a foul ball. Almost grabbed by the catcher Montero in fair territory. It's 2-1.
3 straight breaking balls against Utley, who's and was so good at the fastball, especially in. It's on the plate. Tough to tell from there, isn't it?
Here's another look. It's you can see that ball come back just a bit. Good job by Montero to recognize it and try and snatch it out of the air before it was foul. 2-1 the count. Utley 2-2. Utley's been a world champion. Got that done in 08 with the Phillies. Part of the pennant-winning Philly team the following year that lost to the Yankees in the 09 World Series. Bases loaded with 2 out and a 2-2 count. Over but low, a full count, and the runners will go.
5 consecutive breaking balls.
Utley with another base hit to right. 2 runs. a score. 5-0 Dodgers in the 5th.
Well, 6 in a row, and you gave a great player an opportunity to see a lot of them. And this one more in the middle of the plate because it's a 3-2 count. You didn't give him anything different to look at. Utley was patient. Got another hit, and this will more than likely be the last hitter for John Lackey.
Yasiel Puig takes a ball. The man on deck, Brandon McCarthy, is the beneficiary of the runs put up by the Dodgers. 5 runs on 6 hits. Puig has struck out twice. 1 ball, 1 strike from Lackey, and you can see that reaction, screaming at himself as the Dodgers have now sent 9 men to the plate here in a 4-run 5th. Popped up. Foul territory for Rizzo. The inning is over, but damage is done. 4 runs. The first 2 scoring on 1 swing by Chris Taylor out of nowhere. His 6th home run. Dodgers trying to win the first 2 games of this 3-game set. Sponsored by MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay. And by Chevrolet, introducing the all-new Chevy Equinox. 6th inning, and the Cubs have to get to work. How about Chris Taylor? 6 home runs now. He started the night hitting .333. He's got 19 RBIs. Production from an unexpected source. Brandon McCarthy has a 5-run lead, and he misses inside to John Jay for ball 1. Top of the order for the Cubs, Schwarber and Bryant. The next 2 hitters. 1-0 pitch to Jay. Hard hit to the right side, and it stays down on Gonzalez. He stays with it. 1-0.
Well, for Schwarber, everybody's a little concerned when you think about what he did last year, and it's the pitches he's missing this year. Timing's not there. He's off balance. You see his hands. It's just not on plane, right? And this is the thing that you talk about when you think about Kyle Schwarber last year. Oh, my gosh, he missed the whole year. He comes on the scene in the World Series. He delivers huge, and in the middle of that, he goes off to the off season. And so what happens this year? You think a full year of Kyle Schwarber. What is going to be the production value. And right now, it's more of a pressing issue than anything else.
While we were showing Schwarber's struggles, Roberts saw something he didn't like, brought the trainer out with him, and they're checking with Brandon McCarthy, who's really pitching well. And they are convinced with whatever Brandon told him that with 1 out, nobody on here in the 6th inning, he's okay to continue. Let's take a look at the last pitch and see if we can detect anything. Don't know what they saw unless it was Grandal who called him out. Right-hander Ross Stripling is getting loose. That did not count as a visit to the mound. Here's a breaking ball down and in, ball 1 to Kyle Schwarber, who is 0 for 1. Over the inside part of the plate, a ball and a strike.
Well, the Dodgers are in a little bit of a stretch now where they're playing some quality teams and took advantage of a softer schedule to get to this point. They always want to. I think a team always wants to flex its muscles against teams that are expected to be there at the end, and the Cubs are that. And after tomorrow, there will be no more meetings between these two teams till possibly the postseason. And what the Dodgers have and always want to be is get better and play the better teams. Their division doesn't look like Colorado's going anywhere. It looks like Arizona's much better.
1-2 pitch. Schwarber able to lay off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Take a look at the NL West. Colorado just beat up St. Louis in the first game of their series last night. 10-0 game. Arizona's a game and a half out. The Dodgers are 9 over 500. 2.5 out, and Schwarber strikes out.
This is the one thing that has been giving Kyle Schwarber issues. It's over the middle of the plate and just late enough to not get the barrel on the ball. This guy's got a great swing, and part of the mechanism that may be driving him into a little bit of a funk is mentally giving the pitchers a little much too much credit and thinking a little too much.
So with 2 out, nobody on, Chris Bryant will be the hitter. Strike 1 over the inside corner, and there is nothing with the way McCarthy has thrown the ball since that visit to indicate there's anything wrong. That ball had some life to it. Nothing in 1 the count. Bryant 0 for 2. He's popped up, grounded out. A ball and a strike. Here's a 1-1. Off the end of the bat, strike 2. If you want to break down the wins for the Dodgers this season, they've got 29 on the year, and against teams 500 or better, they're actually a game under 500. They've beaten up on teams below 500, and as we've said, their division is better. So while they dominated Colorado and Arizona last year, 24 and 14, they're 2 under against those two so far in 2017. So it's a much different feel in the West for LA.
Yeah, and as we talked about, I mean, this is certain teams in the league you can plug in a win total and pretty much bank and get close to it. And they're probably going to win 90 games, but it's the separator that when they get to the postseason, do they have enough in the tank? Do they have enough in the rotation to go all the way to the World Series?
Well, there's the front of their rotation. As good, maybe better than any team can boast, with Clayton Kershaw coming off a real strong start against St. Louis. He pitches tomorrow against John Lester, who is coming off a complete game win over the Giants. Two out, bases empty for Bryant, trying to get on in front of Rizzo here in the 6th. Just got a piece.
And honestly, if I didn't have birdies to make tomorrow, I'd stay and watch that game.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
But you have birdies that are calling your name.
I have to go out, do a little hunting for birdies on the golf course.
When's the qualifying?
June 12th. Remember, I'm wearing a mic for you when I get there. Just got to get there.
The Senior Open, Mr. 50. Happiest guy in the world to turn 50.
Right now. June 12th might not be if I don't deliver.
That Senior U.S. Open will be held in Peabody, Massachusetts. Here's a 3-2 pitch with 2 out, nobody on, a strikeout. McCarthy's been outstanding. He struck out 6. He is through 6 shutout innings. Dodgers coming up bottom half, leading by 5. Home of the Dodgers in our Budweiser game summary. John Lackey, he is relieved here in the 6th inning. Chase Utley's had a big game. You saw Chris Taylor, a 2-run shot. And as Brian Dunsing takes over, McCarthy is lifted for a pinch hitter as Franklin Gutierrez is at the plate. Here are the numbers for Dunsing, his 17th game. And the Dodgers will go to their bullpen in the 7th.
Well, you see the variety that he has in speeds. It makes that fastball look a little quicker than it is. The breaking ball fastball combination, veteran pitcher now out of the pen.
Here's a 1-1. Big breaking ball does not find the strike zone. 2-1. Heart of the order will bat for the Cubs in the 7th against the Dodger bullpen. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Gutierrez takes ball 3. Four bench players for each side. Extra pitchers for both the Dodgers and the Cubs. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Full count.
Gutierrez is one of those guys that just been around forever. Persevered. Coming over from Seattle. not a bad job pinch hitting this season.
It's a skill. It's an art. Find a guy that can handle coming off the bench. Nice to have on a 25-man roster. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fouled left side. Dunsing's in a pretty good spot here with the Cubs in their bullpen. He is one of 2 left-handers down there now. Mike Montgomery is the other one. Had a 4-inning save on Thursday against San Francisco. And he may get a start here before too long. Talking about Montgomery. Dunsing could be the only left-hander, although they've had others up and down. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. Hayward, the 4-time Gold Glove Award winner, can't make the play and ends up on the other side of the wall. Appears to be fine. Got his glove on it and almost made a spectacular grab.
Hard to imagine a man that big could have the speed and the agility that he does, but one of the best in his position. Gold Gloves. 4.
So the count's still full on Gutierrez. Good swing there. On deck is Chris Taylor. We're going to check in with Ken Rosenthal after Gutierrez does something to start this 6th inning. And we've talked about the changes Chris Taylor has made, and boy, have they paid off. Not a big guy, but he has hit 6 home runs now. Hit a 2-run shot in the 5th. 3-2. A leadoff walk. So some major changes, Ken Rosenthal, as Chris Taylor walks to the plate.
They actually started during the postseason last year when Taylor and some of the other Dodgers players reported to the team's spring training complex in Arizona just to stay ready. Now, what he did was basically add rhythm to his hands. He said that last year he held his hands high, then dropped them almost to a dead stop. This year, he's holding his bat with a reverse tip, dropping his knob, raising his knee, creating momentum with his barrel.
He fights one off here, hits it to the right side. Happ can play. Ian Happ can play second base. This rookie, he has shown a couple of good plays already tonight on that short hop. Almost turned a brilliant double play and now makes that play to his left.
Yeah, not the easiest of plays when you have a right-hander playing for a double play depth. He gets right to the ball, gets the out at first. And to your point, Kenny, he has Taylor, a terrific change. That's a significant change, much like Hayward had to make a change with his hands. By getting him low and creating momentum and getting something going towards the barrel of the bat, he has really picked it up this year, and success always helps when you make a change like that.
A productive out for Taylor. Looking for a hit. He advanced Gutierrez to second with 1 out, and the batter is Corey Seager. That misses outside. You can see the way Montero received that pitch. He wanted it, didn't get the call. Ball 1. Seager 0 for 2. Here comes a 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Stripling has been up for the Dodgers in their bullpen. Last night, the starter Alex Wood went 5. It is Ross Stripling still up. Appears he'll take over in the 7th. Seager looking to launch, just skies it into right center, and Jay is over to grab it. With Hayward ducking down, 2 out. Seager 0 for 3, and the batter will be Grandal.
Catcher number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
Yasmani is knocking on the door to a 300 average at 294. The switch hitting catcher has to turn around and bat from, at least in 2017, his weaker side, bat right-handed. Rick Honeycutt talking to Brandon McCarthy. Honeycutt's been around for 12 seasons now. Really good left-handed pitcher in his day, and Rick has survived multiple administrations here with the Dodgers, as the organization has wisely hung on to a very good pitching coach. With 2 out and a runner at second, Grandal takes ball 1.
And he survived 1 million pitching changes last year. A historic way that the Dodgers were able to get to the postseason, win the division, basically because of the bullpen. They lost Kershaw for some time, and they made more changes than any team could possibly make and get to the postseason. So it's not a remedy he'd like to repeat.
Left side foul. 1-1 on Grandal. And if you think about where they are, the Dodgers, Alex Wood, who went 5, as I mentioned last night, no runs. He's gone 25 1/3 innings pitched without allowing an earned run. No runs since the 2nd of May. He gets Brandon McCarthy, who has been fantastic here tonight. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. Here's a 1-1. Outside, ball 2. Dunsing trying to get around a leadoff walk to Gutierrez. Taylor grounded out. Seager skied one into right center. And now a 2-1. 2-2.
As we mentioned, the Dodgers successful this year already out of their rotation. Bullpen really good. Best in the National League.
Here's a 2-2 pitch from Brian Dunsing. He went around, struck him out. Dunsing keeps it a 5-run game. 7th inning. The Dodgers will go to their bullpen. Back after this from our local sponsor. For the U.S. Open, Dustin Johnson looks to defend. Names like Jason Day and Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy, and maybe Phil Mickelson finally breaks through in a U.S. Open. 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Got a chance to see that golf course this past Monday. It is sensational.
3 under.
It is big. You think 3 under wins it?
Yeah.
Stripling takes over. 7th inning. Rizzo takes a strike. I think it may be more, but we'll see. That, to me, that golf course is made for a guy like Dustin Johnson.
Oh, yeah, it's a beast.
It is huge. It's on over 600 acres. Northwest of Milwaukee. Rizzo hits one into right. Will it carry? Back on the track. Out number 1 as Yasiel Puig makes it look easy. 1 down in the 7th. And Rizzo 0 for 3. Here comes the rookie Ian Happ. Grip the moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. We've seen a couple of really good plays by young Ian Happ at second base.
Well, it's just another young guys that the Cubs have put together. High draft pick. They're not missing. And they have a wealth of talent in this organization for the position players.
Here's a pop-up foul and out of play for strike 1.
Stripling's one of those guys. Stripling's one of those guys that can pitch up. Very few guys in the game can live up with the release point kind of straight over the top. He complements it with a good breaking ball, but you'll see a lot of the targets and a lot of the fastballs can be almost look like they're over the middle of the plate, and they don't really get great swings. There's another high target.
With the amateur draft coming up for Major League Baseball in the month of June, the Cubs have really drafted well. 1-1 pitch. They've got 5 first-round picks on their roster right now. Javier Baez, 9th overall. Almora, 6th. Bryant, 2nd. Reigning MVP Schwarber, a big part of the championship last year, and now Ian Happ, who's at the plate now with a count in his favor. 2-1. Stripling gets it by his bat. 2-2.
See, that's what he does. He complements that short break off of there, almost like a cutter slider off the height of the fastball. This thing looks like it's going to be up to Happ and then disappears.
Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Full count. Stripling made his major league debut last April, on the 8th of April at San Francisco. Allowed a run in 7 1/3 no-hit innings. Came out of the ball game. He had no problem with it. Dave Roberts made the call, the rookie manager. A strikeout for out number 2. And now Stripling part of this bullpen for the Dodgers.
You know who else didn't have a problem with it?
I do, but I'll let you say
it. Was the next day where Dave Roberts was going out for a walk. As you see this strikeout pitch. And Stripling's father came up to him. Dave Roberts didn't know at the time. Says, "Hey, thanks for taking care of my son." And he realized that the risk of a no-hitter was not greater for the health of what this young man was coming back from. Dave Roberts took a lot of heat for it, but it made him feel good at the end that not only his dad, but the care and well-being of that young man was more important.
There's a strike to Jason Hayward. How can you be anything but impressed with the work done by Dave Roberts?
It really has. I mean, this is going to be the way the game is played with all the information, all the analytics. You got to have someone that throws it in balance, right? That doesn't just take it all in. And he's done a good job in that balance.
Yeah, combining the statistics, the sabermetrics with a feel. He's a leader. Manager of the year. Time to stretch at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers lead 5-0. Coast is sponsored by KFC's new Spicy Crispy Zinger Chicken Sandwich. It's finger-licking good. And by Zyzal for continuous 24-hour allergy relief. Take new Zyzal. Talking about the draft last half inning, it all starts at 6 Eastern, Monday, June 12th on MLB Network and MLB.com. Digging in is Adrian Gonzalez. And Pedro Strop is the third pitcher of the game for Chicago. Lackey went 5, Dunsing 1. Pitched around a walk, and now Strop. Good fastball from the right-hander and part of this good bullpen for Chicago. Strike 1 on Gonzalez.
Yeah, a little bit of a funky action when the ball comes out of his glove with his hand, but a fastball at 96 and a real good downward slider. Control's the only thing that gets him in trouble at times. Watch when he takes it out, a little wiggle of the wrist, and then it lets it go.
Breaking ball down, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the sidewood, the hat that he wears sideways. Signature. His signature.
Kike Hernandez on deck, then Cody Bellinger. Good tight breaking ball and a nice pickup by Strop, who takes it to the bag, 1 out. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kevin Burkhardt.
Third baseman number 14, Kike Hernandez.
All right, Kevin. Yeah, Houston is just running away with the AL West. They started the day with a 9-game lead. They are just loaded with young talent. What a job done by Jeff Luhnow, the general manager for the Astros.
And I got to give him a lot of credit because, you know, this was the all-in analytical superpower team that, oh, by the way, 2017 was supposed to be when they win the World Series. So I'd say the timing's good right now. But the self-adjustments that they have made based on the information that they were giving everybody else is incredible. So I give them a lot of credit. They went and added some veteran leadership. They were missing some chemistry in the lineup. They got rid of some of their swing and misses in their lineup. There were too many swing and misses. And their bullpen they've addressed where they didn't think they needed a closer. They went out and got one and traded some prospects for it. So they're one pitcher away, in my opinion, in the starting rotation to put them as one of the favorites, if not the favorite, in the American League.
1-2 the count on Kike Hernandez. Ken Rosenthal is itching to jump in on that conversation. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Strop. 2-2. Give us more, Kenny.
Well, Joe and John, they are the Astros in much the same position as the Cubs and Dodgers. Talking about that starting pitcher that they need. They've got one of the game's best farm systems. They can basically get whoever they want. What they need is someone to start a postseason game along with Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers.
2-2 pitch. 2 out. Hernandez 1 for 4 in the game. And Cody Bellinger will bat with the bases empty, 2 out. In the 8th, the Cubs will have the bottom of their lineup. Montero, Russell, and a pinch hitter.
The amazing thing, we talked about it last year, but the thing that's been kind of covered with the Cubs winning the World Series and breaking 108 years is the fact that the Dodgers have not been in the World Series in 30-some years. That's hard to believe for how rich this organization is and the history it had. So there's a lot of pressure mounting on the Dodgers.
Well, we talked about Tommy Lasorda earlier. He was the man in the dugout the last time they won it all in '88. He won the other in his Dodger career in '81 and is just as proud of the gold medal he won, managing the young U.S. players in the Sydney Olympics in 2000. But yeah, it's been a while. Too long. 2-1 the count. Bellinger steps out. His next home run, he'll be the fastest in Dodger history to 10 home runs and 25 RBIs to begin a career. Since the RBI became official in 1920. And he'll do it by a long shot if he's at this pace at all. He didn't like that call. It was called a strike, and now one in the dirt, full count.
Yeah, you almost feel like you could tell the umpire, do you know how tall I am standing in this box? That ball was down.
Utley's got 3 of the 5 RBIs for the Dodgers. The other 2 belong to Chris Taylor. 3-2 pitch. A 2-out walk.
That's 3 in a row for the young man who knows how to get on base. Well, we see records and stats for all things, but the one thing I noticed for the Dodgers, when they win a baseball game, you know the regulars are going to be successful, but it's Chase Utley who has shown up in the games that they've won. He's hit over 300 and not so well when they lose, but this guy has been on a nice roll, as we mentioned, since starting off, and everybody basically calling it, that's it. He must be old, time to give it up. Not so fast for Chase Utley.
Hit 098 through the 8th of May. And when you're in your late 30s, people start calling for a release. Well, the Dodgers kept him around. He is a professional. He's a great influence on Corey Seager, his double play partner, the shortstop, the young man for the Dodgers. And now he's red hot. That's fouled away left side, 0-2.
He may be limited with bat speed, but he still knows that there's an area of the strike zone and the part of the plate that he can handle. Maybe not handle as much as he once did when he was so quick down and in, so quick in. You'd see that unorthodox quick stroke, head down, and he's launching the ball for a home run.
252 career home runs. That's on the outside corner. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Stroke. And it sends this Saturday game into the 8th. Getting late for the Cubs. They were shut out last night, shut out so far today. 5-0 Dodgers after 7. Stripling is back to work. He pitched a shutout 7th. And he works here in the 8th inning to Miguel Montero, then Addison Russell, then a pinch hitter. 5-0 Dodgers on top. Left side, base hit. Leadoff man is on for Chicago in the 8th. 3rd hit of the night for the Cubs. It belongs to Miguel Montero, who took advantage of all that room on the left side of the infield. Come out to the ballpark June 3rd and 4th as Major League Baseball celebrates Play Ball Weekend, supported by Chevrolet, Scott's, and Nathan's. For more information, visit playball.org. Bullpen is quiet for the Dodgers at the moment as we play here in the 8th. Here's Russell. Addison 1 for 2. That was against McCarthy. Takes a strike.
You know, I know the theme that the Dodgers had this week. Anchorman theme with the suits. The Cubs, I'm sorry, against the Dodgers. They're here this week against the Dodgers. But I think, I mean, it only makes sense that it'll start working when they go to San Diego, right?
You would think.
So they haven't scored any runs here in LA with the theme. Don't give up on the theme.
No.
Because they're going to drive from here to San Diego.
Correct.
Where I think the Jackets and the whole theme will really kick in. Sorry, Padres.
Here's the 0-2 and a strikeout on a chest-high fastball from Stripling. Here's what John's talking about. The getaway day. And, well, here we go.
Stay classy, San Diego. I'm Anthony Rizzo.
Yep, it was a theme trip for Joe Madden. Keeps it fun.
I look good. I look really good. Hey, everyone, come see how good I look.
It looks good.
I know a lot of people thought Joe Madden could not take that from Tampa and apply that anywhere else, and he has proven a lot of people wrong.
Here's Almora trying to check his swing. Strike 1. Well, he keeps it fun. Would you have been into that kind of stuff? I mean, I can't imagine Bobby Cox doing that, but
no.
I mean, like theme trips.
But yeah, I would, because it's not like, hey, I got an idea and I'll see if this works. It's well thought out. He doesn't do anything on a whim. And like you said, I mean, it's a long season. And yes, they want to be 6 games in first place. But they know they're better than most, and they know they're going to be where they need to go. So that's the one thing that you can do and control is the excitement and/or being a little more loose than the next guy.
Almora fouls it away. I mean, he's had, talking about Joe Madden, he's had a petting zoo. They've had like travel in your PJ kind of trips and whatever. I mean, it's a long season, and breaking it up with something that's fun. These are kids playing a game, and Joe Madden, I think, understands that better than most. 0-2 the count on Almora off the bench, batting for Strop.
And it's not mandatory, it's just strongly encouraged. So it's not something that, you know, every guy has to do, but when you grow as a team and you're together as a team, you certainly want to play the part, and your manager is giving you the freedom to, at week at a time, not show up till 5 or 6, show and go, Legion ball type atmosphere, and then he's got his favorite professional football team that wore jerseys that week. So, you know, it's guys are making a lot more money, so you can go out and do some of these things and get your 4 or 5 suits you'll never wear again.
Right. And Joe Madden takes part in it all. He has as much fun with it as anybody. 63 years old and a kid at heart. That is fouled outside third by Almora, trying to put a good at bat together here against Stripling. The count's still 0-2. Cubs will need another pitcher when they take the field in the bottom of this 8th. Like to get their first runs of this series and dig into this LA lead. It's 5-0. 0-2 the count. Almora with some pretty good swings against Stripling.
Almora might be a player on another team that gets to play every day, but on this team he picks his spots, does Joe Maddon, because he has so much opportunity for flexibility with this lineup, and he has to keep them fresh and give them some days off from time to time. Zobrist can do it all, and he's been with Joe Maddon seems like forever. Spent a little time in Kansas City, won a championship there.
Another 0-2 to Almora, bounces in. Stripling is on the other side of Tommy John surgery, and that's why when he made his debut last April the 8th, he was under the watchful eye, first start of the season, of his manager Dave Roberts, and he didn't want to push him too far, no hitter or not. Here's a 1-2 to Almora. Weak swing, ground ball back to Stripling, bad throw. And instead of potentially an inning-ending double play, it's 2 on 1 out, and there's life for the Cubs here in the 8th. That'll be an error on Stripling.
Number 30,
Can't tell you how many times we have this play in spring training. Watch his footwork. The ball gets back to him. He doesn't realize that he's got more timing, and he doesn't take the time needed to throw exactly to the base. He's trying to follow the shortstop. You can't follow the shortstop. You got to throw it right over the bag. And that's a play he knows. As soon as he let it go, he pulled it. Now we throw on a downhill slant, but when you get this ball, you're almost throwing uphill at times, right? If you get the slant of the mound, and there's a good example of, let me have it back.
Well, let's see what the Cubs do with this opportunity. It's a fielder's choice E1, 2 on 1 out, and back to the top of the order in John Jay.
Aggressive John Jay first pitch. Let's see if Stripling throws according to that game plan. He did. Breaking ball.
Well, you've got Schwarber on deck. It's been a while since the Cubs were shut out in back-to-back games, since May of 2014. Opportunity here in the 8th. The 1-0. Strike one.
See, and that's just another good example of the battle that Almora put on the plate, right? He didn't hit it very good, but he put it in play, and something good actually happened. When you strike out, nothing good happens, and we're in an era of strikeouts left and right, and between two teams, it is very difficult to not have a combined strikeout total of at least 10 or more in this day and age. So that at bat could serve the Cubs well.
Jay chases it upstairs, 1-2.
Just some of the numbers. 43% of the games have a team with at least 10 strikeouts or more. That's just one team. There's very few times do you get a combined less than 10 strikeouts. The way the game has changed over time. More homers, more strikeouts, more walks.
Combined 16 strikeouts in this game as Jay takes a pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Dodgers like the way Stripling's throwing the ball. There's nobody up in their bullpen, leading by 5.
Does a great job north and south, changing the eye level of the hitter with a fastball up, and then that breaking ball you just saw looks like it's going to be up and dips out of the zone.
Big at bat here for Chicago. Jay breaks his bat, grounds one to Gonzalez. The only out at second, 2 out in the 8th. So John Jay 0 for 4, and the batter will be Kyle Schwarber, and with one swing of the bat he could bring the Cubs back into the game. But he's 0 for 2 tonight and hitting under 180. He's at 179.
He better set his sights a little higher and his hands a little quicker to get to a ball that's going to be belt high. If Stripling decides to go up with the fastball, which has been a theme with McCarthy and now with Stripling.
Schwarber started the game with the 4th most strikeouts in the National League. He's added 1 to his total. He has struck out 56 times. And when you consider sitting out basically all of last year and stepping in the World Series and putting the bat on the ball, an incredible feat last year, and waiting for it to click here, and he pops it up foul, backing out of play as Kenley Jansen, the closer, gets up for the Dodgers in their pen.
And there was that high fastball that he couldn't get on top of. He's the only one that's going to make the pitchers in the league change the scouting report that's on him right now.
A 1 pitch. That's back over our heads. Strike 2.
That is perfectly executed. When you call for a high fastball, you don't know how difficult this is for pitchers to get to that spot, because if you overthrow, you pull it in the middle of the zone. If you don't do exactly mechanically what Stripling has done, now that's part of his, he likes to throw the ball up there anyways, but that is perfectly executed. He can do whatever he wants right now. He can throw a curveball and bounce it, or you can go right back up there with that same fastball and say, I don't think you can make the adjustment.
0-2 pitch to Schwarber is hammered foul.
But that's exactly what you have to do with that pitch. He put it in a spot where all he could do is pull it foul. So here's the basic plan that he's pitch by pitch. We've got fastball up, he fouls it off. Fastball up again, he fouls it off, and he throws one back in there and he pulls it foul. Here comes a breaking ball. That's what I would do.
Stripling trying to pitch around his error in the 8th.
Well, they're going to go right back and stubbornly go back in there, up a little higher.
Ball 1. Schwarber is an up personality. And when we saw him before the game, he was popped up out of his chair, shaking hands, happy. Joe Maddon said, don't make the mistake of thinking this isn't bothering him.
Right.
He's a young guy. He's been dinged a bit, trying to figure it out, and there's no way. I don't care what you've accomplished. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. You go through a stretch like this, and he's questioning a lot of things. So Schwarber needs something to happen good here fast. Trying to fight his way out of a slump, waiting for a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
What a good pitch.
Runners at the corners, 2 down, 2-2 pitch. Hit high and deep and foul down the right field line again.
Well, that's a little bit better sign if you're the Cubs trying to get this man going. You like to see him get the head of the bat out, especially on a ball up. There's the hands, the timing.
Another 2-2 pitch. That's an easy play for Oakland, and the inning is over. Schwarber 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. And the Cubs still looking for their first run of this series. Trail 5-0 after 7½. Budweiser will donate 1 cent to the Folds of Honor Foundation up to a maximum donation of $1 million. That's May 22nd to May 29th of this year. Budweiser donates 1 cent to the Folds of Honor Foundation up to a maximum donation of $1 million as we play here on Memorial Day weekend. Glad you're with us tonight on Fox. 5-0 game, bottom of the 8th inning, and Yasiel Puig will deal with Hector Rondon. Fourth pitcher of the game for the Cubs. Breaking ball for a strike.
When the beginning of this year started, I felt that Cubs would actually have a better all-around team. That didn't mean that they would get more wins than they did last year. And the reason I felt that is mainly because of their bullpen. Have a full year of Davis, who's been outstanding, finally gave up some runs. Rondon, who used to be a closer, gets back on track. You saw what Stroke did. Joe Madden does have the weapons to lock a game down. He's just got to get his starters closer to last year.
Also got a world champion closer in Koji Uehara at his disposal, and then a really good left-hander in Mike Montgomery, who we said will likely get a start or two here as we approach the middle part of the season.
But one thing that these guys in the pen will have to do that they weren't able to do last year late, and they've fallen out of good graces in the confidence factor, is get on track.
Puig absolutely jammed, and the count stays 1-2. Puig is really searching for it. As we showed you earlier, got off to that good start. His average down to .222. Struck out twice tonight. He's fouled out. Nobody could figure out a way to get Puig out when he first came up. The league caught up. 1 out.
It's amazing when you watch a guy struggle like this.
Tonight's telecast sponsored by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
Number 68.
And by Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports. So Puig is gone, and the batter will be Stripling.
In hitting, much like pitching, even as limited as I was as a hitter, if your lower half doesn't work, you're putting too much on your upper half. And when you try to create with your upper half, you eliminate your lower half. So you have to have both of them working. Same thing with a pitcher. And when you're going good, it just seems like there's nothing. Everything feels good. You don't think about anything. And as soon as it goes bad, you get mechanical. At least most guys get mechanical. They start processing way too much, looking at video way too much. And that's why I always like the tip that Greg Maddux gave me way back when you're going good, take time to notice what you're doing. Because when you go bad, you're going to overanalyze things that you normally wouldn't.
Defensive swing by Stripling, and the count stays 1-2.
And you just look lost. Like right now, we can identify he looks lost at the plate. It looks like he's waving, he's off balance, and you could see him go right down into the tunnel and probably go right to the video to look at what mechanically or where those pitches were.
And you're talking about Puig, who in 2013, when he first came up, was not just the Rookie of the Month, but the National League Player of the Month. He had 44 hits in his first month in the big leagues and ended up hitting .319 with 19 home runs in 104 games. That's on the outside corner, 2 out. And it's been a steady decline since then.
Center fielder number 3, Chris Taylor.
Here's Chris Taylor. Prevailing moment of the game, sponsored by the Hartford. His 2-run shot in the 5th inning made it 3-0. His 6th home run, it gives him 19 RBIs. And the middle infielder now forced to play center field with Jock Peterson on the concussion list. That 7-day concussion DL. Making the most of this chance. Strike 1.
Well, I thought he went up there with a great approach. After walking the pitcher, that Lackey was a little bit frustrated. He picked on the first pitch, a hanging slider. As you saw, a 2-run homer that changed the whole inning. And basically the Dodgers put up a 4 spot.
That's a strike at 96, and Rondon could strike out the side here in the 8th. The Cubs will have the big bats in the 9th. Bryant, Rizzo, Happ. They also have Zobrist on their bench to start this game, bothered by a sore wrist. That's why he was not in the lineup here on Saturday. 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. Stripling will go back out there for another inning. He would get a save if he finishes this game. Ryu got a 4-inning save on Thursday in relief of Maeda. 1-2 pitch on the corner. Rondon strikes out the side. Let's go to the 9th on a Saturday at Dodger Stadium. Heart of the order coming up for the Cubs, down by 5. With the best ERA across Major League Baseball. They've gone 25 straight innings without allowing a run. The finale of the 3-game set against St. Louis, which they won. Dodgers allowed 3 runs in the first inning with Maeda, and then 8 straight shutout innings. And they have shut out the Cubs so far in the first 2 games of this series. And oh, by the way, Clayton Kershaw gets the ball tomorrow for the Dodgers.
Now this could be 2 straight games where the Dodgers win a game and don't have to use Jansen. There's a good likelihood they're going to use him tomorrow. Clayton's been known to go 9.
We could talk about his last start against St. Louis, leading 1-0, and the game was tied in a wild pitch with a runner, Grichuk, scoring from second base. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Bryant gets under it into shallow center, and a long run. Taylor is there, and the new center fielder has it 1 out. Ross Stripling is 2 outs away from his first Major League save. Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, the Braves take on the Reds on FS1. Then at 7 on Fox, the feud continues. The Red Sox and Orioles. 3:30 Eastern on FS1. Then at 7 on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Our producer of this game, Pete Macheska. The director is Matt Gangle. Associate director is Brian Biederman, who put that Anchorman piece together and was so excited about it. Broadcast associate Brian Colucci and our editorial consultant Steve Horn here in the booth. Rizzo now 0 for 3 on the night. Good tight breaking ball from Stripling. Strike 1.
Well, we've seen this isn't a trend by any means because we've seen more pitching changes on average per two teams than ever before. But these are going to be clean innings, and this young man could end up saving the game by going the final three, which you don't see very often anymore. This game is so specialized. We see a lot of one batter pitching performances. But here's what's changed also in a game that's ever changing, and at least for this game so far, clean innings, no mid-inning pitching changes. Each guy has been able to start the inning, finish the inning.
Here's an 0-2 to Rizzo. Pitch is in the dirt. I mean, you tell stories about your career and starting a game here in '96 against Ramon Martinez, and there you are in the ball game in the 9th inning. We ran a highlight last week in a game I did with Alex Rodriguez where Doc Gooden is pitching well over 130 pitches in the 9th inning of a game when Mike Scioscia hit a game-tying home run.
Yeah, and I was telling you before the game, this was the loudest I'd ever heard this stadium. 1-1, bottom of the 9th, playoff game, the wild card game. We started here. And old Mike Piazza sent a fly ball to right field. Fortunately, it wasn't deep enough for a home run, and we won it in 10 innings, 2-1.
Rizzo pops one up on the infield for Gonzalez.
But I think, Joe, if teams would get a little bit more, when we talk about the pitching depth, I don't want to go down that whole trail, but it's just so specialized that sometimes the information and the inability for offense to score, we feel like we have to throw 7 pitchers at a lineup versus an executed perfect job by Stripling. There was never an opportunity where, even with first and second, the manager had confidence that he was throwing the ball good. An error was made by him, and he's got a chance, 1 out, to finish this game.
Cubs have 3 hits in this game, had 2 last night. 1 of the 3 hits belongs to this guy, Ian Happ, who's been on base twice, strike 1. McCarthy will be the winner. He'll go to 5-1. The loser, Lackey, 4-5. And it will be, if Stripling finishes it, the first major league save for Ross. A 1 pitch. Popped up. That'll do it. Maybe. Seager makes the catch, and the Dodgers win it 5-0. After a 4-0 win last night, and LA is now 10 games over the 500 mark. And in a 2-hour, 41-minute game, McCarthy gets the win, and the Dodgers really off to a good start in 2017.
They are taking care of business here in this homestand before they head to St. Louis. And America's best pitcher are going to be pitching tomorrow against a great John Lester. Should be fun for the viewership.
For the Cubs, first time they've been shut out in back-to-back games in about 3 years. So the Dodgers now are 2 games out, and those top 3 clubs are good in the National League West. Dave Roberts, he is thrilled with the way his club is playing, and now the Cubs are a half game behind Milwaukee. We're only talking about the 27th of May. There's one of the stars tonight in this game, Chris Taylor. The kid's happy, the dad's mad. 5-0. Dodgers win it. Kevin and Eric coming up on the other side of the break. From all of us, so long from Dodger Stadium.